Therapists try to avoid talking about themselves as much as possible. We only talk about ourselves in session when it helps our clients to open up. Podcasting, on the other hand, is the complete opposite experience. I've been struggling with how much to share. If you go back to the creaky early episodes, I share a lot. I weigh myself every day. So here we go again. Up until a few weeks ago, I've been living with someone, and to my surprise, one of the best parts of it was the fact we both, surprise, surprise, closely regulated our exercise and diets. It was such a relief to never have to explain my diet or my workouts or defend them. We bought healthy food and had 6 restaurants where we'd safely dine. It was so easy. Outside of our apartment, I have people with zero credentials commenting on what I eat or don't eat or when I eat it. So my home was safe, a no judgment zone with regard to nutrition and so many other things. I'm living alone for now because of our careers and individual ambitions. And it's hard, harder than I imagined. Coming into an empty apartment has been a challenge. The reason I'm telling you this is what happened a few nights ago. I had a binge eating episode, my first in years, and when it started, I didn't realize what was happening. It caught me by surprise. I ate something, and then I ate another thing, and then 2 more things. I recorded the calories after the fact and wound up more than 1,000 calories above my eating plan. It really scared me. I was vulnerable, and it hasn't happened again. So what did I do? I reached out to friends and family. I got a therapist, my first in 15 years, and even started taking an antidepressant. I am in a tough spot, and I'm missing the support that I would normally have. So I'm reaching out to my family and my friends, taking on these bad feelings, just like I would encourage my clients to do. In these moments, our instinct is to turn inward. Don't follow that instinct. Turn outward. Turn to others. In this episode, we're going to talk about others and how relationships can make health and wellness easier, and how you can navigate the holidays emotionally and physically better than ever without all the food and the snacks. One of the best things about doing this show is connecting with listeners far and wide, sometimes really wide, like Germany. Last month, I hopped on a plane to meet with listeners Carolyn and Tanner. He's an Air Force traffic controller, and she is doing some traffic controlling of her own with 5 adorable children, 4 of them under the age of 7. We talked about what the key is to their amazing success, helping each other become more fit. You wrote me and told me that you had decided to kind of kick off your own fitness quest,
Yes.
for lack of a better word. And so I'm going to let you explain it, and then we will bring your husband into the picture and talk about how you affected him. So tell me, so you wrote me and you said, wow, I'm gonna do this myself, and you bought a scale, and
Yes.
What happened after that?
I had just hit a point in my life where I was ready and had space and energy to devote to losing weight.
Mm-hmm.
And listening to the podcast just lit a fire under my butt and motivated me a lot. So I just jumped into it.
Tell everybody a little bit about you. How old you are?
Okay.
You're married.
I am a 31-year-old married mother of 5, and my oldest is 11, and my youngest is just turned a year.
Yeah.
Just turned a year.
So you have tons of free time, and you're basically just kind of
Yes.
going around. Yeah. Okay. Wow. So you have a pretty busy schedule, and I imagine that feeding yourself and taking care of yourself probably is on the lower end of the list of daily activities.
It definitely is. Also, my youngest child was born 10 weeks premature, so I had developed a lot of really unhealthy emotional eating and coping mechanisms after her birth that really I was finally ready emotionally to kick those to the curb.
Good for you.
Yeah.
So what was the process like? I mean,
well, let me see. I started out and continue to eat fairly low carb. That's what feels comfortable and sustainable for me. Helps me feel full. I discovered intermittent fasting, which as a mom is much easier for me than the kind of traditional, eat every 2 to 3 hours, have 5 meals a day sort of thing. I eat probably 2 meals a day. They're fairly large, but I only have to think about feeding myself twice a day.
Tell me, I mean, I know about fasting, and I know that intermittent fasting, I mean, I've heard some fairly smart people who I trust talk about it in fairly positive terms, but tell me, for those who are not used to that phrase, what is intermittent fasting? Because when I think fasting, I think I'm not going to eat all day and all night, but this is different, right?
So intermittent fasting, really it can be whatever you want it to be, but the general idea is you pick a window of time during the day where you eat. For example, I might decide to eat breakfast at 10 o'clock in the morning and then eat dinner no later than 6 p.m. And so I have an 8-hour eating window.
Okay.
And I don't eat outside those times. And for me, even if I am hungry, even if I'm craving a snack, it's much easier for me to just say, no, I can't have it because it's outside my eating window. Maybe I can have it tomorrow during my eating window. It'll come back around. The snack's not going anywhere, but I can't have it right now. Rather than try and find a way like, oh, well, maybe I'll just eat half the snack because it fits into my calories. Because I can't ever have just half the snack. Eating begets more eating for me.
No, so. And it's really important to know your own psychology. Like for me, I can have a bite of something and then put it away. The folks I work with at Darien Wellness have been amused at how long I have extended a little bag of baked Cheetos. Where I take 10 out, I count out 10, I record 10 Cheetos, and I eat those 10 Cheetos, and then I wrap it up with a rubber band and put it back in the box. And that's something that works for me. But I get it. For a lot of folks, that is not the MO, and so you figure out what works, and this works for you.
Yes.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
So it sounds like what was it easy for you to make that transition?
It definitely was not. I made it easier for myself by doing it in conjunction with the keto diet for a while, because that kind of helps initially sort of ride those early low blood sugar crashes that you get because your body's used to being fed much more often than what you're doing now. So eating a lot more protein helps with that. Eating a lot of protein is very important especially if you're going to restrict your eating window.
Agreed. And as we've talked about before, the rule of thumb is about a gram of protein a day for every pound you weigh. And that's to maintain your muscle mass, because maintaining muscle mass facilitates more calorie burning every day.
Yeah.
That's great.
I also like doing the fewer meals, because personally, I'm a big eater. I like to see a big plate of food. I like to have a satisfying plate of food. So if I have 1 or 2 meals a day, I make a giant salad and a big piece of meat and, olive oil and a little bit of cheese. So it feels more satisfying to me than a smaller meal.
Sounds great. I'm not hungry, and I'm kind of getting hungry hearing you talk about it. Now, are you counting calories too?
I haven't counted calories at this point because I was really heavy. And I didn't really need to count calories in the beginning because the weight was coming off without counting them. I haven't incorporated exercising the way that I hope to, just because I wanted to, get on a good track and lose some weight first, also to help with my joints. It's not fun to exercise when you're really heavy.
How long ago did you start this?
At the end of July, actually. I remember exactly because I went on a trip to Dublin with a friend and I told her it was my last hurrah. And when I got home, I was going to be on a diet. And I did. So, yeah, it's been like 4 months, I think.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And you've met your goal.
I did. Yeah, I've lost like 35 pounds.
Holy cow.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
That's fantastic. That's so impressive. And sitting patiently to Carolyn's left is her husband. Now, hi, Tanner. How are you?
I'm doing all right, Davey. How about yourself?
Good. How old are you?
I'm 32 years old.
Okay, so he's got a little bit of age on Carolyn. And how long have you two been married?
Let's see. My wife is trying to help me out, and she just changed. She gave me the hand signal and then changed it. We're about to be married 12 years.
Okay, yeah. So these two were married, as we say in the South, when they were mere youngins.
Oh yes.
And so you were not around. You're in the military.
I am.
And you were deployed somewhere during this period of time.
Yes,
is that correct?
I was deployed to Spain of all places. So,
right.
But geographically separated nonetheless. And it's I was down there. I was living in a hotel, and just kind of on my own down there. Yeah, and it was about late July. Carolyn called me up, and right after her trip to Dublin, and she said that she wanted to try this new thing, like try intermittent fasting. I'd heard it from friends before and stuff like that. She was talking about wanting to do a wager about losing weight.
Wow.
Which I was hesitant because she very much had an intensity about how excited she was about this this new tactic, for losing weight. I was very hesitant, but I don't even think I set parameters, which was good because
what was the wager? I'm sorry.
The wager was who could lose 20 pounds faster, right? Yeah.
Wow.
And, yeah, Carolyn, blew that record out of the water. So I was very lucky
Holy cow.
to hold back on that one.
That's fantastic. Now, you yourself, you were feeling a little heavy?
Absolutely, yeah. I was. Well, I knew I was a little heavy. I didn't know exactly how heavy I was until I, started thinking about it. Y'all were talking about BMI earlier, and I was like, I'm probably right on the cusp, maybe a little on the overweight side, but no, I looked it up, and I was like 10 or 15 pounds, on the other side of that, not in the normal range. I was overweight, yeah. Okay. And so that was kind of a wake-up call for me. I felt like I looked all right, but I think it was just one of those things where, living day in and day out. Yeah.
You were the heaviest you've been in your adult life.
And I felt like that was normal. I felt like I was like, maybe, I'm like, I got some vanity pounds here that, I can live with. Yeah, by the time that I came home, I was 20 pounds lighter and, just shy of being in that normal weight at 165, I think. Just getting under 165 is what's considered normal weight for my height.
Okay.
And it wasn't long after I got home, and I stuck to it a little. It was hard. That transition's tough to maintain and, try and keep that routine. But I was able to do it enough that I got under that 165 range, and I'm back in a normal weight according to the BMI scale.
Wow, that's fantastic. How do you think that you support each other in this journey now?
Historically, I have been the weak link when it comes to our weight loss journeys. So I think that was something that helped Carolyn out, is me being, geographically separated in a way.
Mm-hmm.
So she was able to use that to her advantage.
Yes.
Oh, she wants to interject here.
Well, Tanner he has a much different body composition than I do. Also, he's a man and I'm a woman, and I've had 5 children, which means I've been pregnant 5 times, which really does a number on your metabolism and your body. So yeah, he was never very supportive of any of my efforts because he didn't have to be, because he's always he's a typical man, and yeah, he would always say, well, I'll just start running a couple miles every day, and he would drop 10 pounds. Or he'd say, I'm just gonna skip eating out for lunch and I'll just do it 3 days a week instead of 5, and he would drop 10 pounds. So he never really had to struggle. So I think this time he was also very motivated because he's now over the 30-year mark, and it's not coming off quite as easily as it did. Still comes off pretty easy. Still pretty easy, but it's not as much of a clawing struggle for him. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I tell couples who have any kind of shared goal like this, and one of the things they ought to do is pick their least favorite political candidate, and if they fail in keeping a goal, either maintaining a weight or reaching a goal, they have to give their least favorite candidate $100.
Yeah, that's a. Yeah, that would be hard to do. That would
It's
be absolutely
very hard to do.
motivating, Yeah.
Yeah, so that kind of keeps everybody honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But we all figure out our own way. So that's kind of the dire one. And it sounds to me like you guys don't need that kind of mechanism. When you came back home, was it a surprise to you? I know you knew that she had lost the weight.
Oh,
but
man. Yeah, she was looking good. Still is looking good. What's up, girl? No, it's she looked great, and and I was happy that I stuck with my own, and I was like, okay, so I look okay too, I'm not coming up, being a schlub in this whole situation,
Sure.
To my wife looking very amazing.
Well, and it's nice now too. Like when I actually visited him in Spain a couple of weeks before he came home. Hopefully the military doesn't hear about this. But I went to visit him in Spain, and both of us had been, doing intermittent fasting for a couple of months. And so it was nice because our appetites were so much smaller. We were really having to plan out what we were going to eat. And I've always wanted to share a meal. I don't know why. That's just, I want to share the meal. So, and neither of us could finish a meal, so we had to share.
Oh,
everything. Wow. We would go out and have like a couple of tapas, and we would have to split a single open-faced sandwich.
A new experience for both of us.
Yeah. Yes, because we're both big eaters. So it was quite a surprise.
That's fantastic. And it's half as expensive.
It is.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's next? Do you guys have a collective goal, or have you got individual goals for where you see your fitness going?
I think both of us are hoping to incorporate a lot more exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been trying. I feel like we've gotten a pretty good handle on the eating side of it right now. My weight's still continuing to go down even after he got home. That was the real test.
Yeah.
Is once he got home, because it sounds counterintuitive that it would be easier to stick to a diet and eat healthy when you're alone with 5 children and your husband's gone, but it is, because there's no one there to tempt you.
And also, you don't have to think, well, gosh, I've got to fix something that he would like. You can really rein yourself in.
If I want to eat a salmon salad every day for 2 weeks, it doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
So, but even after he came home, I've lost over 10 pounds since he got home.
Wow.
And he's continued to go down
lost
too.
5.
Yeah, he's lost 5.
Wow.
So I feel like we're doing really well with that, and now we just need to incorporate some physical fitness.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, physical fitness into some physical fitness into our daily lives and get a good routine there. And I think we both have an idea of what we want to do, which is good. And then, just staying like honest to the food portion of it. My wife has been really supportive of me in that regard by like making me lunches. And I absolutely believe those last 5 pounds are because I've stopped eating out. At work, I've got one of those jobs where you don't really leave during the day. You send somebody on a chow run, and they come back with Subway or Pizza Hut or what have you, and when I'm taking what my wife makes me, the low carb, lots of vegetable kind of food, and I'm eating it. I'm not letting it sit in the fridge and then sneaking Subway on the side. I'm eating it. And that's been a huge thing since I've gotten back, and like that. And I think that feels really good, us being a team in that regard, and supporting each other. That's something I've really appreciated.
That's awesome. To wrap up, let me ask each of you: what's one tip that you would give somebody who was about to start a weight loss journey, a fitness journey?
Oh, gosh.
What's something simple that you think could help people that helped you?
Eat the same thing every day.
Oh, that's very interesting. Wow.
If you don't mind it, I don't mind it. I have basically 4 meals that I eat for lunch because I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I eat lunch at home. And lunch is usually my main meal of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I have the same 3 or 4 things that I eat. I just eat a big salad with a certain type of protein on it. I try and rotate the greens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
That's great. That works for me. It doesn't work for a lot of people, but it definitely works for me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fantastic. All right. Tanner, what's a tip that you would give to somebody just starting a fitness journey?
We talked about it earlier, and it's also dealing with the food. It's are you an abstainer or are you a moderator? And that kind of resonated with me, and I realized I need to be an abstainer. I can't allow myself any temptation. I just have to if I have a window of 6 hours that I need to eat, then I need to abstain until that 6 hours. Or if I can't allow myself this type of food, I need to not, give in to that temptation.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Well, thank you both. And
thank you.
We'll be checking in with you. So keep up the good work. That's awesome. They have a plan. I'm not sure about intermittent fasting other than the research I've read. But if it works for them, it works for me. Food means just as much as exercise in our whole fitness picture. But what to eat? Meat, vegan, vegetarian, keto, the list is a long one and it changes every day. That's why I'm so happy that I connected with the delightful Stephanie Wright, a chef whose mission is to bring the body into balance mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually with the food that we eat. I'm sitting here with chef extraordinaire Stephanie Wright, and one of the questions that I get a lot is, what do I do about all these office treats, all these goodies, right? Like, I'm lucky because I live in a controlled environment, and I work in a controlled environment because I'm the boss.
Yeah.
So I don't bring treats, goodies, right? I mean, I get my assistant a snowman cookie once a month. But that's it.
That's very nice of you.
Well, she likes snowman cookies.
Yeah.
So once a month I get her a snowman cookie. But what do you think you do if you're at work and you come in and there's like a box of glazed this and there's a platter of that and that white chocolate bark stuff?
Yeah, you have all these temptations, yeah.
What do you do about that?
Well, I guess it depends on the nature of the party. If it's something that you could potentially propose bringing your own dish, if it's a potluck, bringing something that you know you're going to enjoy and you can lean into if there's no other option. Also bringing your own snacks, or limiting yourself if you like. It's sometimes you have like little indulgences, but get like a very small plate and take one of little thing from each thing that you really want, and allow yourself to enjoy yourself. You can't completely break off from everyone else enjoying themselves, but know that like this is for me. I'm doing this for myself. I'm allowing myself to have this indulgence and appreciate it. Like really savor that little morsel that you have, and know that like you're gonna do better. You're doing this for yourself to take that one little thing, and you're not gonna overindulge, and you're gonna feel better because you're not gonna, succumb to
and
the holiday.
Tomorrow you're gonna go right back to your plan.
Yeah, you can't. I think my biggest word of advice is to not completely fall off. Like if you have a little bit of something, if you have more than you expected to, it's okay. You're not completely ruining everything else that you did. It's just one day. But there are different ways, like bringing your own food, taking very small amounts that will help you avoid that potential guilt trip.
Yeah, I totally agree. I really appreciate that approach. I think that I can hear the resistance from the listeners thinking, well, I can't do that. And what I would say in that response is, if you have that thought in your head, it's true.
Yeah.
If I say, I can't control myself, yeah, you're absolutely right, my dear. Change your thought. I'm going to do a different approach. I'm going to get a little plate, like Stephanie said. I'm going to put this on it. I'm going to get that tree bark.
Yeah.
Can you tell I like that tree bark?
I can definitely tell.
I haven't had tree bark in years.
Oh.
But boy, there sure was some in the break room. I don't know who brought it in, but there was tree bark in my break room the other day.
Oof. Temptation. Well, there you go.
Took a picture of it. This is my strategy.
It's like food porn.
Just take a picture of it.
Food porn.
You can find out more by going to her website, therightmethods.com, and that's right with a W. And of course, you can always find her on our show page, waitingpodcast.com. And now the time has come for me to meet with the wonderfully patient Ryan LeCure for the last time this year and see what my numbers are saying. Hey, man. So I did my bod pod this morning, and yesterday, remember how we talked about, I think that if I set a goal and I get 60% of it, that's really a great thing, right? Because it sure beats not doing it. Well, that's called discounting the positive, right? I don't want to discount the positive here, but I was not happy with the results. I lost 0.3, hold on, I've got that wrong. I lost 0.3% body fat since my last one 6 months ago. So, and by the way, just through serendipity, it's 6 months to the day. So it's really a good 6 month sample of, shaking and baking. And, so at this rate, to hit 15%, it would take me, 35 years or something like that. I mean,
yeah.
But I'll let you say stuff now.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to keep in mind with body fat, is that it can change daily, weekly, So it's, like the logical thing would be to look at that and like, oh, yeah, at this rate, I'm going to lose, it's going to take me forever, right?
Yeah.
But that can change so quickly, and so there could have been some ups and downs in there that are not really reflected in that number. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's still not as low as you want it to be, right? So
I mean, it's still not even a healthy range.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of debatable, I guess. But it's either way, it's still not really what you want it to be. So like that's something that again, like we talked about yesterday, it's just like we have to just get on the grind here and just keep going, pushing forward.
Yeah,
I wouldn't assume
so
that
I'll
means
quit. I'll quit eating vanilla ice cream every night. Oh wait, I'm not doing that. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Yeah, I've been grinding, my friend. And so there's one of the things that I learned in business is there's a difference between working hard and working smart. I'm working hard, but I don't know how smart it is. What my impulse is to get more information about, my body and about my specific dietary needs, like from a sports nutrition coach. I'm playing with a very limited set of data points. And so I want more informed information from people who are scientists in this field. This physio lab, that's, optimizing athletes' performance is what they do. And so, he's saying that he could take this data, which it's richer than a VO2. He could take this data and genetic information about me and build a diet that would, along with a weight training schedule, it would get me what I want. He's not saying don't lift weights anymore. He's not saying, don't exercise anymore. But I'd just be interested in hearing if he could bring anything to the table that you and I don't already know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's definitely not going to hurt to have the information. It'll be interesting to see it.
Yeah. So
get it done.
Yeah.
Do you have that scheduled? When you get that?
Yep, I already got it set up. So January the 5th.
Cool.
It all goes back to what we have said on this show many times. It's not rocket science. It's either your diet or your exercise. And but my lifestyle is the lifestyle of a Boy Scout. So, and not even a fat Boy Scout.
The only other factor that I can think of that could be contributing to all this stuff is sleep, and that's
that's part of this. That's part of this assessment. Is sleep. All the things that you just said. Yeah. So this is a very. This is not plugging me up, running until I plop over, and then saying, "Okay, see you later." It's got more layers to it than that. And he said that. Anxiety measurements, and from what's been going on the past couple of weeks, I've been pretty anxious, and even with meditation and all the exercise I do, but so it's a full picture assessment of what has to change. Because I told him, I said, I want 15% body fat. If I have to name a number, let's name a number. 15. How's that? I don't think that's crazy. It's not 7.7, but that's a good, healthy number for a man who's as strong as I am and who's as active as I am.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's realistic for sure.
And and he said the exact same thing. He said, yes, I think that's totally doable. So I said, awesome. So that's what I'm going to do.
Cool. Yeah, that'll be cool to see that information. I'm interested to see what he comes back with. And that'll be cool for both of us to see.
And as I'm standing there in my spandex swimsuit, because you have to wear one of these fitted spandex swimsuits. Let me tell you something. It fits a hell of a lot better than it did 6 months ago.
Yeah. You can't. No number can take that away from you. So, no, it's just like we've always talked about, just like these multiple data points, or objective and subjective measures. So.
Yeah, I would have easily gone I would have very little qualm or no qualm going to the beach in what I had on today, other than the fact it's a spandex swimsuit. But don't get me started. But but yeah, I mean, and 6 months ago, that was awkward.
Mm-hmm.
Things have
Yeah,
changed.
that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, man. Look, go get in the middle of your day. I'm going to get back in the middle of mine. And, yeah, I appreciate you taking the call. Like so many of us in the new year, I'm rethinking so much diet and everything else. I love resolutions. If it weren't for them, I would not be who I am today. The more I think about it, I make resolutions all year long. And here's a resolution that's easy for me to keep. I'm thinking about each and every one of you for this holiday season, and I'm so thankful for your support of this show and of me. I have so many surprises in store for you in 2019, and I mean, I really have surprises. I hope all of you have a great holiday and New Year, and we will see you soon with an episode on why most resolutions for most people don't work. Please keep in mind the information in this or any episode of The Waiting should in no way be construed as medical advice. Always consult a physician before attempting to lose weight or beginning any sort of exercise program. Are you curious about my eating plan, more dietary information than you'd ever want to know, and maybe a picture or two? Head over to waitingpodcast.com. That's WEIGHTING podcast.com. The Waiting is brought to you by me, David Ezell, and my producer, Patrick Fort. Our theme music is by Waylon Thornton, courtesy of the Free Music Archive. Don't forget, we have a listener line we started for all your questions and comments about weight loss or setting and executing any goal. Please call our listener line at 347-687-3057. That is 347-687-3057. And we'll be answering your questions as they come in. If you like this podcast, share it with a friend. And if you want to do me a solid, rate and review it. That's the primary way others will get to hear the show.